This is an emergency broadcast. There is a cyber attack that is reported to be now underway. Multiple websites are affected, from Facebook to Instagram to PayPal to many other websites. Not everyone is affected from what I found in the same way. I can't access my PayPal and buy or sell, while others can. There's actually a few things. I spent the last night deciding whether to invest in a solar power generator. So I have backup power so I can report to you late into the night off the grid when my main solar setup is out of power. And what I have found is there's somewhat of a media blackout concerning this. If you go to news.google.com, you'll notice that there isn't any mention of it. And I noticed after I posted to Facebook the article entitled "Many Sites including Twitter, Shopify, and Spotify Suffering Outage," it was also posted around the same time that Drudge reported this. So I'm going to break this down very briefly, and then I'm going to get back to doing some other things. This is an attack on the American people, whoever did this. According to some reports, Anonymous is claiming to have done it. We know that there are intelligence agencies that have masqueraded as Anonymous, which is why I've always stayed away from something so anonymous. And they say that they're doing this to support Assange. Of course, there are others that are going to say that that's a psyops. I will also give you my opinion in that I don't necessarily believe that the WikiLeaks operation is legitimate. But that's not what this podcast is about. However, is it related? And also, we look at last week, John Kerry announcing cyber attacks against Russia. Oh, they'll know when it happens, leaving that type of an ominous warning and threat. And then you have Joe Biden. Some people have seen my video, the compilation of creepy Joe Biden kissing the children, and I said in a video, they're going to make those congressmen and women sign on to something at some point. That's why he's doing that to their children. It's some sort of a weird ritual. That's my speculation. And here we have Biden just last week discussing cyber attacks. I'm going to have to do a lot more explaining in another video regarding everything that's been happening geopolitically. I've been away from YouTube too long. Now I have a new internet service where I currently reside, where I'm going to be remaining for the winter. So instead of traveling around, I'm going to be focusing on covering these things. I see this as a big event. Even if it comes back, it shows in this potential trial test how many American people, how many Europeans, how many people of the world that are in this global cashless society can be starved out, can be immediately shut out. You see, PayPal is huge. Regardless of what people may think about the founders of PayPal or other banks for that matter, people use banks. How many of you are off the grid right now, growing your own food? And I myself am not in a situation where, I have a lot of stored food as a result of that which I've grown. Next year is a new year. But I mean, if you were ever looking for a serious reason to go off grid, what more do you need? Imagine whole cities and populations affected for days or weeks on end without able to access their bank account. Forget Facebook and all that, but that's serious too. They've got us in these, as Drudge calls it, social media ghettos. And if you go back in 2013, you could see a video where I'm warning people, back up everything on YouTube because I feel a cyber attack is coming one day to take out some of the information that's been put out there. Back up everything. Back up your websites. Don't have faith in these clouds and servers in the sky. Always have things backed up on a local drive. And I've learned some really hard lessons in my own life from not doing that. So this is multi-pronged. This is multi-level. From websites where you connect with other people, sometimes that's your family. And in this digital society, or many of us live in different areas, some of you are connecting with your family through these mediums. So that's just one level. But PayPal, we're talking about an attack on the independent business owner. That's what this is. That's what this really is. Oh, it's an attack on the government? Is the government going to be more affected by this, or people that buy and sell, that work online? As most of you realize, PayPal is one of the dominant buy and sell mediums on the internet. So you could be working for someone, you could be selling something, you could have an online business. I mean, look at eBay. eBay is huge. And that is directly connected with PayPal. In fact, you log in and you can access both accounts now, as I think they've merged or come together. And there are other websites where they have a built-in, buy with PayPal. And so PayPal is used as a bank account, a primary online bank account for a great deal of people. So if this does not come back, this is going to be proven to be very serious. I'll mention a few things before I leave you today. Headline: the possible vendetta behind the East Coast web shutdown. Hackers temporarily shut down access to websites for internet users along the U.S. East Coast Friday morning in what experts say was a coordinated and curiously timed attack on one particular domain server provider. Dyn Inc., spelled D-Y-N, reported a distributed denial of service, or DDoS rather, attack this morning, 7:10 New York time. And it left millions of people without access to Twitter, Spotify, Reddit even, the New York Times, and other websites. It says that they restored service at 9:20 a.m. but was offline again around noon as another attack appeared to be underway, also affecting the East Coast. DDoS attacks on companies like Dyn, which facilitate the loading of web pages, have increased recently in both size and intensity. Now that is one report, and I'm just scanning it. Back in 2012, a DDoS attack forced offline the websites of Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, US Bancorp, and PNC Financial Services Group Incorporated. So you see how many people are affected by these type of events. It's not just PayPal. We've had reoccurring issues with banks. Are these tests of defenses? And then, of course, you look at the fact that we have all these kill switches in our computers made in China, and it's all been by design. You look at these cell phones, by the way, Samsung Galaxy 7 blowing up on airlines, or being banned from airlines because of all these phones that have blown up. I guess 1 million. They're combusting. And why is that? Why, after all this time, they've had plenty of practice to hone the craft of making a cell phone, why are these cell phones made in China all of a sudden exploding in people's hands? There is propaganda right now that is being directed towards Russia to lead us into this conflict. Just because propaganda is being used doesn't mean that there aren't actual incidents of hacking taking place on higher levels that are coming from outside this nation. And also, don't discount the possibility that our own government is collaborating with other governments to enable this catastrophe in which the American people are left holding the bag. The American people are left hurting more than the government. Okay, so it's an attack on the government. Obviously, this is something that's affecting more the people than the New World Order. But the people that are dependent on those web servers, on those bank accounts, on those Federal Reserve notes, on the PayPal funds, on the websites, on their online businesses. And we're in the 21st century, folks. This isn't just about saying, well, good for them. People should have to go get a real job. That's what people were saying in response to YouTube announcing their enforcing on a larger level the demonetization of videos. People are actually coming, well, people got to get a real job. When you're dealing with bank accounts being hacked and bank accounts being hit offline that are run by these servers, people with real jobs that use banks can be affected. And if they want to create a situation, massive civil unrest, before the war, mind you, a problem, reaction, solution to enforce some sort of martial law here at home. You know how you do that? You create a situation that causes panic. And in today's day and age, in today's cashless society, what we're seeing manifesting right now in the news is a great example of what it could look like and what it could feel like when your access to funds is cut off. Even if it comes back, this is a warning, and you should heed it. Get prepared in what means that you can. It's not just physical, it's also spiritual and emotional. I'm Alex Ansary signing off on this very historic day of the cyber attack on October 21st, 2016. If you feel like watching a past video of mine where I'm warning about this, find my 2008 or 9 video announced or titled, Cyber Attacks Are on the Rise. Don't Rely on the Internet. And that'll be linked down below.